Music and music theory is a vast and complex topic that has definitely become an important part of my life over the recent years, as has Obby's been. That was definitely not correct grammar. Well, I thought the perfect way to sort of combine those together would be to build Tower of Music Theory Mayhem. This is Ring 3's Soul Crushing Tower for my JTOH rings in Obby Creator. And after I fix the Z fighting, it'll be officially complete, except actually no, because I'm probably going to make a few adjustments as I play through this, because that's what we're doing today. The tower is now basically finished, and this video is going to be the playthrough of the entire thing. I've built the lobby and Winroom and all that. If you want to come play this, then here's the Obby ID, and you can also watch the videos of me building this in the playlist of Tower of Music Theory Mayhem building videos. Alright, so upon entering the Obby slot, you're on this circular platform. Here's the tower portal, and then here's the floor select. And you'll notice the lobby is a music note, which I think looks good, and it uses very few parts, which is good because I basically am out. So here we have Tower Music Theory Mayhem. Some knowledge of how to read sheet music recommended, but not required. Various glitches required. No vertical mobility, no boosts, nearly impossible. Not for mobile. Like seriously, this includes sections that require less than greater than keys to work properly. And it's by Shark. That's me. And then over here we have the floor select. This time it actually is in numerical order because it's just an ascending tower the whole way through. Typically on these, it's like mixed ascension and things, so it's not in numerical order, but actually is here. I deleted the text because there's so many signs explaining the music theory concepts that I ran out of text effects to add. Not to mention when I type, the floor number gets hashtagged every time anyway. What I left was just like side B or outside or some of these other things. That are parts of the floor. Anyway, let's just go ahead and get started. Tower of Music Theory Mayhem. Welcome to Tower of Music Theory Mayhem. We're going to kick things off with a tower crossing to Tower of Chromatic Chaos, or Remorseless Tower in Ring 3. So if you jump to that pink neon cube, then you get teleported here. Gray platforms with a sharp sign, or a hashtag, are 3 studs above where they appear to be. In music, this symbol means to play a note 1/2 step above what it would otherwise be. This is a little bit different from what it actually is in Tower of Chromatic Chaos. So like this push ball thing is not in the original tower. And also since this is on a different obby slot than the rest of Ring 3 and therefore this tower, this is like a duplicated version that I just moved over here. Sharps, hashtags, and flats, this little B symbol, stay in effect for the rest of the measure. In this tower, a measure is a floor. These sort of darker colored platforms are like the changes I made between, okay, I thought I was gonna fail that, between this and Tower of Chromatic Chaos. Because typically a tower will be nerfed or buffed or changed in a tower crossing. So in this case, it's buffed a little bit because this tower is remorseless and Tower of Music Theory Mayhem is mid-insane. Speaking of the difficulty, I might change that after I play through the whole tower. So me recording this video is also like me play testing the whole tower, because I have yet to do that, to give my final decision on the difficulty, and to nerf pointlessly difficult jumps like that. Also, if you're wondering what this is, it's because this is like hidden behind this thingy that with Reflectance 1, so it's kind of slightly more difficult to see, so what's behind here is kind of hidden. It's different thingies that you like get teleported to throughout the tower. A flat symbol means to lower the note by 1/2 step. In this tower, a flat symbol means the platform is actually 3 studs lower than what it appears. In the actual tower, there's like a moving part here that you use to jump to here, but this time you just jump on top of that wraparound that's newly added. There you've got, that's not supposed to happen. Okay, I don't know why that happened. Maybe I should change that, but I don't want to. Okay, so you gotta press that green button, and then you do this wall hop. Okay, that's gonna need fixing. I don't know why it's doing that. I might need to fix that in the actual tower also. But, okay, anyway. The green button activates that. Okay, let me add this advanced tools part that's right here. That way it'll change back the property when you get teleported, because I newly added that fog end effect. Now that you've reached floor 1, let's recap sharps, flats, and natural signs from Tower of Chromatic Chaos. Here's a heal part if you need it. So the numbers on the walls here tell you the order you're supposed to complete the sections. So number 1 is over here. And so now that we're in the actual tower, you can see, like, I kind of was going for a futuristic vibe here. Also, that's a push box. There's no respawn button, but like if you knock it down, you can still jump there. So, yeah. Remember, sharps, flats, and natural signs are collectively called accidentals. In music, accidentals stay in effect for the rest of the measure. And in Tower of Chromatic Chaos, a measure was a floor. Here, however, a measure is 1/8 of a floor. Look at the neon lines on the wall to see each 1/8. Accidentals only affect blue platforms like you see up ahead. So you can see this one is marked sharp, so it's actually 3 studs above where you think it is. Changes this truss a little bit. There's a button. The button will deactivate some parts that are here, so you can do the wall hops. And then notice this whole section is marked sharp. This is a natural sign. It cancels any sharp/flats that are currently in effect and also stays in effect for the rest of the measure. So you can like long jump off of here, I guess is probably the best way to do that. And then there. Once you press that, that'll activate some parts over here. so you can walk over. Look at the accidentals marked here to use the pressure plates to correctly direct the push ball to a button. Since I built it, I already know this is the one you're supposed to do. But like you can see on the other ones, like since this is sharp, it's going to be moved up a little bit, so the push ball isn't going to be able to get to the button. So what I'm going to want to do is press this to deactivate that wall, and then stand on the correct pressure plate. And then, there we go. Now that I press that, this activates over here, allowing me to progress. Now remember that this is a new measure, so it goes back to not being sharp or flat. I got that slanted wraparound, then you sort of long jump to there. From here on out, you'll see a lot of sections where you need to press space according to an indicated rhythm. The platforms will normally be invisible, but for now they're semi-transparent, so you can learn how to do this. The tempo will be at 60 BPM on all of these, or beats per minute is what that stands for. Using a metronome is going to be pretty much required to get the timings correct. The Google metronome will work just fine. Use greater than and less than keys to line yourself up, and make sure your first jump is in time with the metronome and you're jumping at the white neon line, which is can't collide false, by the way. So let's align myself, and then also these signs explain the duration of notes, like, you know, how to read rhythms. 1, 2, 3, 1. So that's how you would count that. And then, I mean, the timing there wasn't perfect, and I kind of wasn't pressing space exactly with it because, you know, I could like see the platforms. But yeah, you can like redo this section if you want to try and learn this, but there are safety nets on all of them throughout the tower except for later on like floor 7 or something. Anyway, then you have another one of these. And the reason you have a slowed walk speed is because like there wasn't enough space if you were going normal walk speed. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Again, not perfect, but whatever. Wall hop. The horizontal seam is where the neon line is. Here's a safety net below the wall hop, because I'm nice for now. So do that. Every pitch is associated with a letter, A through G, and sometimes a sharp or flat also. For example, A, B flat, F, G sharp. You gotta do these spinning conveyors. Not like that. For the time being, the notes we'll deal with are going to be natural. They don't have sharps or flats with them. You do those jumps, which look very epic. Look at this chart to see every note on a treble clef staff that we'll be looking at. Either memorize this or take a screenshot or something. So it goes in like alphabetical order. It starts at C down here at the bottom, and then it goes C, D, E, F, G, and then starts over A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then you sort of go underneath there. That might need a nerf. Rephrase, that's actually not a rephrase. It's completely changing the meaning of the sentence. That is going to need a nerf. Why do people say rephrase when they're completely changing the meaning of their sentence? A rephrase would just be a different way of wording the same thing. Anyway, this is music, not grammar time. Jump on the platform with the note C. Also down here it says, do not attempt to press this until you finish the note names quiz. So don't think you can jump down there and take a shortcut. So C is going to be this one. G would be this one. D would be this one. You might find it useful information that all staffs from the play the rhythm section are can't collide true. So what you want to do is press this, which will activate that truss, and some other platforms here for 20 seconds. Now you want to come press this purple button, and then you do this, and you kind of got to do one of those like backwards ladder flick thingies. There we go. If you think you're ready to try this with the fully invisible platforms, press the gray button. There will be a few more of these before fully invisible platforms are required. Let's do it with the fully invisible platforms. And you can press that to undo that if you want. 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. You can see I kind of pressed it too early there. If you get behind, you can try and press it late the next time, so you can kind of like re-catch up. So, like, you can kind of save it, but, I mean, most of the time it's a safety net anyway. Underneath here it says, did you really think you could skip this whole section? Because these trusses are can't collide false, so you can't just do that. Warning, these are instant death blocks. Make sure you avoid them. And then here we got a dance clip. So you can kind of go on this little thingy here, that way you can, like, so you can jump to make the dance clip slightly easier, instead of, like, manually turning your camera. Finally, you don't want to know how many attempts that took for no apparent reason. Notice that this exists here, because we'll talk about that on floor 7 or something. That's a can't collide false button, so just make sure you don't do what I did and actually land on the thingy. Okay, now here you gotta like climb up on top of there, not like that. You're imagining that. Okay, anyway, so this is also here, and then you gotta jump up these circular platforms. If you run out of time, then you gotta do this whole section again. Okay, now you can jump here. Then you got this tightrope jump. Conveyor launch onto here. Press this button before you go on the jump pad. High jump to reach it. You want to do that. And it activates that, by the way. So if you see that, you know you've pressed it. So this will launch you in this direction. This will launch you in this direction. And here we are at floor 3. Not all the floors are this long, by the way, because I used like 2/3 of my part limit within the first 5 floors or so. So floors 6 through 10 are really short compared to this. Okay, we have another note names quiz. So we got B, A, C, and D. So you can jump on this staff, because it's can collide true, as it mentioned before. You got another backwards ladder flip kind of thing, which is like, you know, you jump backwards instead of like forwards. Good job, you've passed the note names quizzes. Every song uses one of 15 key signatures, each of which is named after a note. For example, C major. The word major is written there because there's a major and minor key for all 15. And also, it's actually only 12 key signatures because some of them are just different ways of writing the same thing. The key signature can change during the song, technically as often as every measure, but that's never really the case. Each floor of the tower from now on has a key signature you'll be told of at the start of it. For this floor, it's G major or E minor. G major / E minor has one sharp in it, F sharp. So now blue platforms represent a specific note, and if it's F, then it's a sharp platform. Still keep a lookout for accidentals though. Okay, so you can see this one is F, so it's sharp. This one is C, which is going to be normal. This one's E, which is also going to be normal. Now watch out for that insta-kill. This is a repeat sign. Remember seeing this at the start of floor 3? Well, now you're going to have to redo the section, but it's going to be buffed this time. In music, the repeated section would be exactly the same, but I doubt anyone wants to play the exact same parkour 2 times in a row. Jump into the sign to do the repeated section. So you'll be teleported back over here. There is this thing here, so you don't have to worry about accidentally walking off the platform. So make sure you like keep in mind which of these are can collide true, so like you can figure out how to do the parkour. Okay, that's very much a difficulty spike. So here you got a wall hop. I nerfed that a little bit because it was kind of difficult. Jump on the platform with the note C. So you should probably like align this to make sure you're lined up. Yeah, you can like jump a little bit to make sure you're lined up. Okay, D is can collide true, so it's gonna be that. There we go. Now this time you actually gotta go on the back side of the truss or ladder, so you can kind of do that. Be very careful there though. No point in rereading this. Okay, now that this wall is gone, we can continue. So that's F, so make sure you remember that that's sharp. Key signatures stay in effect until specified otherwise, which in this tower is going to be every floor. Thus, this platform will be sharp even though we're in another measure. This sign is can collide true. So you want to jump to the sign, and then jump where the arrows indicate. You want to jump there, not like that though. There we go. See this B flat accidental? That means for the rest of this measure, all B notes are flat. Now normally, this flat symbol would actually be black like everything else, but it's just easier to see if it's a different color in this instance. You don't really have to look carefully at every single platform. You can kind of just rush this a little bit. Okay, now you have this, which is kind of RNG, but like if you fall, it's not like you'll probably just like land back on the truss. In fact, yeah, if you land there actually, so you, like it's perfectly fine if you fall there. Anyway, we pressed one of 2 buttons, so now we go this way. Okay, now here you got a wall hop on that edge there. So now you've pressed the second button so you can jump down this way. This tightrope is here so you can go back here. And then you can see those arrows both indicate we go this way. Here's the other button activated platform. It is a truss. Let's make the platforms fully invisible. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. There's actually an error where you were actually supposed to play on that rest, which was incorrect, so I also fixed that. Each key gets its name from the scale that can be made using the notes of that key signature. For example, G major is called that because using the notes of that key signature, you can make a G major scale, which you'll see up ahead. Let me fix that typo. Major scales follow this pattern of steps. Whole step, half step, whole step, half step. Intervals / steps are discussed more on floor 4. So you can see there's G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and G. That's the G major scale. Do that wrap around, and then minor scales follow a different pattern of steps. Whole step, half step, half step, half step, whole step. Here's the E minor scale. We have E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E. Welcome to floor 4. This is a 2-side floor where half of it is about intervals and the other half is about chords. Safety net's not included. So the previous floor mentioned steps and half steps. On a piano keyboard, a half step is the very next note, black or white. A whole step, aka just a step, is 2 half steps. So basically an interval is a distance between 2 notes. This half of the floor consists of sections representing the mood / sound of various intervals. That is, if you played the 2 notes simultaneously. Starting with a major third or 4 half steps. So you can see the time change, so it's like a little bit brighter. The key signature of this floor is F major or D minor, which has a single flat, and that would be B flat. And then there are like a bunch of round platforms on here. I kind of took inspiration from Tower of Modernistic Design Choices, which is the only realistically beatable tower in the Pit of Misery of JTOH. That should probably be cancelled false. That's the reset button for this push box, by the way. So you use that, and then you can jump here. This is a B flat, so it's like you're able to jump to it. The next interval is a minor third, or 3 half steps. So it's like sad, I guess. Oh yeah, also when I edit this, I'm going to play the interval on each of these, or chord, so that you can hear like what I'm talking about. That button is can collide true. So it's connected to this push box. So you want to do that to knock it off the platform, which will press the button and activate this platform over here. There's a button. So for 20 seconds, what did that activate? Oh yeah, it deactivates a thing over here. This door, so you can exit. Next up is a perfect fourth, or 5 half steps. This interval has an open sound. So here's an outside section out in the open. Don't worry, it's mostly a push box section, not really parkour. Okay, so this is kind of a puzzle thing. So here's how you do this. So this is a can collide true button that resets all 4 push boxes. So you gotta do the red one first, which will activate this thing over here. The reason you have to do it first is because to get to it, you have to reset all the push boxes, because you have to jump on the button to do that. There we go. Now we can walk back here. So then you gotta do the green one, so you need to push it there and then step on the pressure plate so it doesn't just fall. Then we got the yellow one. Be careful you don't fall through the gap between these platforms. That'd be a sad way to end your run. Then you need to put this on top of here. And then what I was kind of going for here was you're supposed to think you need the push box to jump up here, but actually, if you look at the note, it's B flat. So it's flat, so you can actually just jump straight to it. There's the thingy. Apparently you need to jump on top of it though. And make sure that'll actually fall in there and not like get stuck like there. Okay, so now that that's on that yellow pressure plate, you might have seen that deactivate. So we can make our way back over here. Do that wrap around thing. Press this push box, which will deactivate that temporarily, which will drop this purple push box. So now you can make your way across here. And because this red platform is there, you can make the jump. And if you mess up this push box thing and hit the resetter, then it'll go back up there and you gotta make your way back to there. Or just reset everything, I guess, if you want. Next up is a minor second, aka a whole step. It's 2 half steps. This creates a semi-dissonant sound, and in certain musical contexts creates tension. The parkour gets more difficult now. These 2 sides are can't collide true. Okay, so look at this carefully. See how it's like timing platforms? I couldn't like make it sync up perfectly to where it looks like it's just going back and forth. You can see it just like kind of teleports sometimes, but also sometimes doesn't. But yeah, you'll pretty much get like stuck in the same like corner. So yeah, that's easier than it looks though. So right here is perhaps something that can help you in any tower, really. Like, not just specifically this one. With the timing on these beat blocks being very slow, you'll probably need to subdivide. Count a certain number of times in between each change, in addition to when they actually do change. For example, say this in your head and have the numbers in brackets be the times the platforms change. Okay, so it's going to change here. 1, E, and, 2, that's way too fast. 2, E, and, You basically just gotta, like, keep waiting until you can, like, count it. Well, I guess. So you know exactly when it's going to change. 2, E, and, 3, E, and, 1, E, and, 2, E, and, 3, 1, E, and, 2, E, and, 3, E, and, You don't have to, this is the only time I actually use this. I was kind of planning to use that more, but I didn't actually end up doing that. So, if you mess up, it's fine, because there's that safety net. Do that jump onto that half stud carefully. And it's probably really RNG, so it's getting a nerf. That's better. Now do these half stud jumps. And now we're at the next one. The next interval is a minor second, aka a single half step. This interval can be used in a lot of different ways, one of which is creating even more tension than a major second, for this interval has a very dissonant sound. Here the parkour gets even more difficult. Press this red button and redo the major third section. This time it will be buffed. Make sure you press the orange button along the way. So you press this, which will activate some things, and you'll also activate this path over here that will allow you to get to this orange button, deactivating this and letting you progress. So you're going to want to jump down to either like there or this sign. Probably, I would actually say rush this section. Don't wait too long because you'll get shoved off otherwise. So that's a rare instance where you shouldn't take your time in this game. Or JTOH, you know what I mean. Okay, anyway, you do that instead of just doing the half stud that's here. This is blocking it. Oh yeah, and this time you gotta do the subdivision, but with wraparounds this time. And, 3, there, okay. There's not really any point in counting after you make the last jump. Oh, and we gotta get to the button. Forgot about that. So that's this way. Do those ladder flicks. There's the button. Then you could jump there, like, and redo the subdivision thing, or just do that. Now probably use shift lock to like face into the platform on those so you don't fall off. And one final ladder flick, and now that this is gone, we can progress. Yay. Alright, so we have this next section, which I guess still counts as the minor second section. It's basically just like some few jumps before we get to the tritone section. A tritone is the next interval. It's 6 half steps. It gets its name from the fact that it's also 3 whole steps. A tritone has similar uses to a minor second, so here's another difficult section. You'll be happy to know that you go back inside the tower soon. So basically you have a bunch of ladder flicks. Just do them carefully. I guess they're not that hard. Okay, so then you can do that and go on top of here. So now we get to the perfect unison section. The last interval is a perfect octave, or 12 half steps. This section will be a little bit easier. Something you might not know is that oct means 8, because it's 8 steps of a scale. Not 8 whole steps, because like in a scale, as you saw earlier, it's a certain interval, it's a certain pattern of major and minor seconds. But it's 8 of those, so that's why it's called that. An octave. After you press the button, go where a wall has deactivated, left of here, and make your way back inside the tower. It deactivated that. And you can fall down here. Some effects will change, and here we are. You've reached the second half of the floor, which is about chords. Chords are made up of 3 or more notes, or 2 or more stacked intervals. We'll start with a major triad, which is a root note with a major third above it, and then a minor third above that. Or think of it as a root note with a major third and a perfect fifth above it. Walk across the staff, and then wall hop back onto the platform. The button is can't collide false, by the way. So it'll activate the green platform for some time. Don't do that. Oh, you're not supposed to wall hop there. You wall hop here. Well, it's not really made clear, so let me just do that. That way it's possible whichever way you decide to interpret that. So you can do that, and then 3, 2, 1. You're trying to do that wraparound. Then we have some kill brick jumps, and also these like spinning kill brick jumps, which I think is cool. So just make sure you don't like jump onto the wrong platform or get knocked off by anything else. Then we have some wraparounds, and then here are the next one. These are both B flat, so they're both flat. Next is a minor triad, or a root note with a minor third and a perfect fifth above it. It's the same as a major triad, but the third is lowered a half step. So jump on the spinning platform, do this wraparound thing, and now you want to press this button, which will, I think it deactivates a wall for 12 seconds. But you go back this way, yeah, it deactivates this so you can make that jump. Oh, and those are fading parts also. Okay, so now we go through here. So the arrow indicates you go this way. You'll get teleported here. There's a lot of effects that activate, and there's not really anything I can do about how slow they activate. Next is a diminished triad, 3 minor thirds stacked on top of each other. This triad has a dark sound, so here's a horror experience for you. Watch out for the random decal jump scares. Your run will end if you run into them. So I guess this is kind of making fun of, like, generic horror games that are, like, really low quality. Isn't this such a jump scare? You know what, let's explain what these decals are. So in Welcome to Bloxburg, my sister's like building this town thingy, you know, because people do that sometimes. They build a bunch of houses, like a city, all on one plot. Anyway, so this is a thing for the treasurer's office. There's also one for like mayor and assistant mayor. As you can probably guess, I was the one who drew that beautiful work of art. Hey, look at that. That's me winning Tower of Difficulty chart. And yeah, those decals are insta-kills, by the way. Yeah, this one's the assistant mayor's office. And you want to get to this ladder. The maze isn't that difficult to follow. Okay, and then I kind of got lazy on the second floor of this, so you just gotta avoid the moving insta-kills. Oh, and this was taken in a game. It's like it doesn't really have a name. It's called Test 2. But yeah, that was my desktop background for a while. It's very epic. And this was also my desktop background for a while. That was taken in Ring 3 of JTOH. Screenshot analysis over. You get teleported here after you walk through there. Wait here a few seconds before continuing so that the effects apply and you can see again. You can safely touch decals again, by the way. Yeah, I don't really know what's happening here. You have to like select it and then it works. So I don't know why it makes me do that. So you can walk through there. There we go. Complete the 3 sections the teleporters lead to activate the 3 trusses ahead. This sign says, if you see a white barrier around the trusses, that means you attempted to take a shortcut past the diminished triad section. Walk across the staff again to go back to the start of this half floor if you see the barrier. And so you can see the names of the chords for like the different sections. So like, you know, the button that's in this section will activate this. The one here activates this one. You get the idea. So we'll just start with sus4. A suspended 4th triad, aka a sus4 triad, is a root with a perfect 4th and a perfect 5th above it. Okay, there, I had to reword the sign. It's so annoying when you have to do that. Anyway, it has an open sound and a dissonant between the 4th and 5th, so an outside section is perfect for this. And you can use this teleporter to return to floor 4 in that same, like, section, so it's not like the start of the floor or anything. So it's a speed section. So now I can return to floor 4. It should reset the walk speed. Then let's do the sus2 section. You can do these in any order though, by the way. Oh, and also because sus, you know, I couldn't miss this perfect opportunity for an Among Us joke. So on the back side of these signs, there's some of the decals from Tower of Among Us. Actually, I want to change that one because you'll actually see that later in Tower of Music Theory Mayhem. You'll see. Okay, change it to this one. Okay, anyway, a suspended second triad, aka sus2 triad, is a root with a major second and a perfect fifth above it. It has an open sound and a dissonant, the major second between the root and second, so an outside section is perfect for this. We have another teleporter. Yeah, it says the same thing, because, like, I don't know what order you're going to do them in, so, like, I don't want to say it's similar to the suspended fourth triad. Well, okay, that would be fine, but, like, I don't know, like you just did on the sus4 triad section, or, you know, something like that. That would make no sense if you did them in not that order. Alright, there's the button. You can jump back down here. Don't jump on there. Damn, it won't do anything because you already have the effect. Okay, and finally the augmented section, or augmented triad. This section represents an augmented triad, or two major thirds stacked on top of each other. This triad creates tension, so here's another outside section. Okay, so this one I think is pretty cool. Don't try to jump at the corners. It's more consistent if you do that. I don't know why I did that though. That was weird. Okay, and there's the button. Now jump back down here. Now that we've pressed all the 3 buttons, these should all be activated now. We're almost at floor 5. This is by far the longest floor of the whole tower. I wonder who forgot to set those to can't collect true. Definitely wasn't me. I mean, surely, because, like, it's not like I'm the only one who worked on this tower at all or anything. A dominant seventh is a minor triad with a minor third above the top note. Once again, there's some tension here, but enjoy being back inside the tower. You're almost at a safety net. You do hit your head on some of these jumps, so, yeah. And this one also has a kill brick, which I think is can't collect true. No, it's not. But, like, it's basically at the roof anyway. Okay, there's that button. So it'll activate this path for a few seconds, and you need to walk over to this gap in the wall. Last but certainly not least, the major seventh. This is the same as a dominant seventh, but the top note is raised half a step. I ran out of room on the other side of this floor, which is why this is on the interval side. There's a nice sound to this, so I'll make this section pretty easy. You just have that wrap around, and then you just don't die to the kill bricks, which is really easy. And that insta-kill. Do this wraparound for me so the effects reset. This is because I'm too lazy to put some advanced tools parts at the start of the next floor. Well, I mean also because advanced tools parts don't work very well when you change like 5+ effects at the same time. So if you do that, it should reset everything back to the default. And then I think it stays that way for the rest of the tower actually. And here we are at floor 5. Go to the keyboard and play the note B flat. Click/tap it and enter floor 5. If you don't know which one it is, just guess randomly until you get it because nothing will happen if you click the wrong one. It's that one though. Welcome to floor 5. This floor is about the harmonic overtone series. You played a B flat right before entering the floor. We'll say that the octave of that was octave 3. Basically, whenever a certain pitch is played, there are overtones that can be heard if you listen very closely. Although it's nearly impossible, if not impossible, to hear in almost all situations. On this floor, you'll complete 7 sides, each representing an overtone. Safety nets are included this time. If you fall at any point on this floor, you'll be completely fine. First overtone actually isn't an overtone, it's just B flat 3, which you just played. The key signature will change each side to the major key of whatever the overtone is. So on this side, the key signature is B flat, so there are 2 notes that are flat, B flat and E flat. I'll explain something about, like, maybe being able to hear overtones as I do this next section. So pretty much, your best chance of actually being able to hear one is if you're, like, at a rehearsal of something, and, like, as part of a warm-up, everyone is playing the same note, like concert B flat or whatever. So if you listen carefully and everyone's in tune pretty well, then you'll actually be able to faintly hear the note that's a perfect fifth above that. So in that case, it would be F, concert. Okay, anyway, so you want to do this push box section, and make sure you, like, keep pushing it, because it's going to try to not want to be on there. And you want to get it on the pressure plate. There we go. That'll activate all these, and now you got to get to the green pressure plate, which is also button activated. This will reset the push box, by the way. So once you do that, it'll deactivate those walls over there. You can probably high jump up here. Yeah, you can, but otherwise you can reset this. However, that would mean you're going to have to do the push box again so that you can get over here. So actually, I'd recommend just high jumping. So there are accidentals here, so be careful of that. You don't have to do that again because this will also activate those in addition to deactivating the wall. I think this actually is 2 separate buttons. Yeah, so actually you can use the push box if you want. Here you got to reset that though, that way you can jump up here. Dance clip to get through this wall. Okay, I don't know why it's being, like, annoyingly difficult. We're going to does that make it any easier? To make it 0.25? I guess so. Okay, anyway. The first overtone above B flat is F, a perfect fifth above it. There should not be semicolon because a perfect fifth above it is not an independent clause. The key signature for F major is a single flat, or B flat. Each overtone is harder to hear than the previous one, so on each side of this floor, the platforms will become harder to see. And then we have, like, a button speedrun kind of thing. So you basically just press the buttons in the number order you see. The orange one will open that door up there, so That's kind of the most important timer here. If, like, you can see if red runs out, that'll make it so you can't press the orange again, but, like, you already pressed it, hopefully. So, yeah. Anyway, the next overtone is the B flat, an octave above the one you played at the start of the floor. So this involves getting push boxes and using them, like, multiple of them, like that. And this one you actually gotta knock down the platform. There we go. And then, yeah, it'll land there because this is flat, but, like, if it falls down, then I guess it's fine, so long as you're able to get to the black button, which for 12 seconds will do that. Then you also want to press this one, which for 12 seconds will activate the white platforms. There we go. The next overtone is D. That key signature has two sharps, F sharp and C sharp. Since these only last 5 seconds, you gotta deactivate all of them, and no, you can't just do that. You need this high-speed conveyor. Okay, there. So that button has infinite time, and it'll activate the conveyors. So then you gotta do this, and go around here. I guess probably try not to run out of time, so maybe start at the pink one. There we go. Yeah, that way you don't, like, you know, like I did a second ago. Just get off on the opposite side of the side. The next overtone is once again F, but an octave above the one from the second side of this floor. Hopefully remember what the key signature of F major is. Your jump has been removed for this side. You'll need to press green buttons to raise up the floor to the exit, which is up there. So pressing space is not going to do anything. So this includes walkarounds and stuff. There we go. Here we have a /E cheer clip where you basically do that. You can pause and read that sign if you want. It just explains how you do that. Anyway, that's the second and final button. So now you can jump down here. Your jump returns. We have 2 more overtones left. This one is a pitch between G and A flat, so it sounds a little bit out of tune. We're going to say the key signature here is A flat because that's a more difficult key signature than G. A flat major has 4 notes that are flat. B flat, E flat, A flat, and D flat. Then you have the spinny thing, which the whole thing is sharp. Or, no, it's flat, actually. Okay, and then that'll deactivate for 10 seconds so you can walk through here. Okay, I forgot to put another advanced tools part again to reset the lighting effect, but there. This is the final overtone. It's a B flat, 2 octaves above the one you originally played. Technically, the platforms here would be 0.6 transparency, but let's do a shadow section because that's more interesting. If the shadow block corresponding to an invisible platform is blue with a note on it, then that means the sharp/flat applies to the location of the invisible platform. So the key signature is B flat, so B flat and E flat, so this is going to be flat. So on this axis, it doesn't actually change anything, but here it does, so I'm actually standing a little bit below what you see here. You need to press 2 buttons, and they each last like 30 seconds or something, so you should be okay. And there's the other one, and so it'll activate the ladders over here. That will let you go out here to the outside of floor 5. Here's another outside section. Luckily this time you'll get another safety net right after it. This starts with an instrument quiz. You jump to the platform with the instrument that is either pictured or described. You can use this teleporter to skip the quiz if too much of the text gets hashtagged, like, which would make it impossible. So the first thing you do is the quiz based on pictures. So that's going to be trombone, piano, trumpet, violin, and then written descriptions. This instrument has a low range, and music for it is written in bass clef. It is a member of the brass family, and it uses valves. That would be tuba. This instrument is the instrument that I play. It's also a member of the brass family, and it reads treble clef and uses 3 valves. That would be trumpet. This instrument is a member of the percussion family, and it has 4 drums that can be tuned to specific pitches. Timpani. This instrument is a member of the woodwind family. It reads treble clef and is a B-flat instrument. Clarinet. And lastly, this instrument is a member of the strings family. It reads bass clef and is also sometimes just called bass. String bass. 1, 2, 3, and 2, 3. Hey, let's go. First try. I mean, I know it looked like that on all the other ones, but, like, I just editing that. Maybe I did on that one too. I guess you'll never know. Press the purple button and you'll have 100 seconds to complete the rest of this outside section. Use the red button to reset the timer. Even if the timer has run out, make sure you press the reset button before trying again anyway. The key signature here is B flat major, by the way. 100 seconds begin. Okay, so notice, the blue platforms inside here will reset the push box. Tip, jump towards the push box if it gets stuck midair. So this will reset the push box and this will lower or raise the gray platform. So first you need to lower it and then jump towards it so this moves over here. Oh, and the timer here is like a lot more than you're really going to need. So then you want to wait for this to... Okay, I timed that wrong. But luckily you can use this weird updating thingy to your advantage. So you can... Wait, no, it should be behind there, like over here. Maybe, I don't know, but there. Remember that this is flat because it's E, and that's flat in the B flat major key signature, E flat. There's a worse way I could word that. So it's actually down here. That's where you got to move it like up and over it. Then wait for this to go right there. That should be good. And then raise that. That should press the button. And then here you have that wall hop. Jump on the platform with the note C that does not use a ledger line. So I never actually explained up until here what a ledger line actually is, but I mean, it's pretty easy to figure out. Because, like, it's this little line right here that this note is on. Jump scares. Don't jump on these decals. That's of course referencing the horror section from earlier. It doesn't actually say this on any signs, but this final part of floor 5 outside represents sections of the towers so far. Really? Okay, just pretend I narrowly made it back with 1 second. It was so intense. Here's your safety net as promised. However, despite this being floor 6, you're not at the halfway point. You're actually past it. Due to part limit, the floors from here on out are much shorter. I mean, it doesn't say much shorter, but they are. Like, you know, it's probably well over halfway through the video at this point. But I don't know, I haven't edited it yet. Also, you might find it useful information right about now that there will be a final outside section on this tower as a performance of everything you've learned. So you press the yellow button. You can long jump there, or I guess technically you could do this and like walk around there if you wanted to. Don't walk off the platform like that though. And there's a green button. Wall hop time. That's kind of there so you can figure out what you're supposed to do. Anyway, this is floor 7 now. Here's a funny key signature. B major or G sharp minor. 5 sharps. F sharp, C sharp, G sharp, D sharp, and A sharp. Kind of got to wrap around there. So this is D, which is D sharp, so you need to know that. A dot represents staccato platforms. Notes marked like this should be played in light and separated. These platforms are falling platforms. Okay, so earlier I mentioned, like, I pointed out that this is here, and this is why. Perhaps you remember seeing this symbol as decoration on floor 2. It's called an accent. Well, this means to emphasize the note it's above or below. Here, make sure you click the actual note at the same time you jump to play that note. 1, 2, 3. Slightly imperfect, but it worked out, okay? The following platforms are marked as legato. This means they're connected by an invisible platform. The legato line itself is can collide false. Now you can press that button, which for 20 seconds deactivates this wall here. So you can actually jump up there. The reason I made it 20 seconds was because I was thinking you'd like go that way, but you can take the shortcut there if you want. And I was too lazy to change the time back. This teleporter will send you to a tower crossing to floor 3 of Tower of Among Us. Welcome to floor 3. The song playing is the Among March by Shark. Make sure you stay in time and don't fall off these timing jumps. On this floor, all gray parts are timing related. Inlet gray parts are beat blocks, and universal gray parts are fading platforms. Oh, and the lava starts rising once you do the first jump. So the time the lava takes, I believe, I made this work earlier. I already forgot. I think it's 160. Don't know why I fell there. Warning, there are fading parts ahead until you reach the next set of purple platforms. I suggest looking down before jumping ahead. Or looking ahead before jumping down. Yeah, we don't really have time to do that. Why is that doing that? Oh, well, you would have died now. Okay, that shouldn't happen anymore because I increased the lava rising time to 220. Anyway, you basically need to just like wait in here until this reappears. That way you'll be able to make the distance to these fading parts. Jump to this conveyor. That should launch you to here. There we go. When you hear a tone/note, you're hearing a sound wave. The frequency of a wave is how many waves pass in a second. The frequency of a tone is the frequency of its sound wave. For example, A above middle C has a frequency of 440 hertz. So I originally had like an actual wave thingy built with half cylinders, or half hollow cylinders, these things, but part limit, so now it just looks like this. So this is a low frequency wave. I mean, okay, it's relative, I guess, so, you know, there could still be a lower frequency wave than that, but it's low frequency relative to the high frequency wave that I have as an example right here. Here's the high frequency wave. So, like you can see the difference here. You got this conveyor launch. You don't actually have to jump there, so I guess it's okay that I missed that. Actually, A isn't always 440 hertz, but it usually is. It can either be directly tuned to a different frequency, or it can be the result of equal versus just/pure temperament. Equal temperament is the most common. We basically take two notes an octave apart, and each chromatic note up is a 1/12 of the differences in the octave's frequency. In just/pure temperament, however, you're in a certain key and tune the other notes so that intervals and chords are the exact frequency ratio they should be. Now, there's this legato line here, so there's actually an invisible truss along here. Here's a major triad represented by push boxes. However, only the third can be moved. Tune the third by moving the push box to the exact frequency of the note in equal temperament. You'll know you've gotten it when the moving platforms both activate. Now, it originally said root, third, fifth, like in text, but the text limit became a problem. But I decided it made more sense to just use the actual notes. So this would be a C major triad, C, E, and G. So tune here. So like you can see, there we have both activated, but if you get it a little bit wrong, then it'll only have one or the other. You do the same thing here, by the way, to activate those. But the explanation is this. While the third tuned to equal temperament was the correct frequency, it was actually sharp relative to the triad. In just/pure temperament and the key of the root note, that's not going to be the case. The tune here text is slightly to the left compared to a moment ago. Also, this is happening because there's like a weird glitch thing. So this floor 9 is a speed section, and it's really, really short. It was originally going to be about fermatas. I don't feel like explaining those, but part limit. So now it's just a super quick speed section. The key signature on this floor is D major or B minor, F sharp and C sharp. So this is floor 10. There's water at the bottom, so it's a safety net for now. Okay, this thingy will launch you to the side, so make sure you're ready for that. You can like hold space and jump off there. Here you are at the last floor. A final performance is imminent, but first complete 2 button sections as a quick review. Some of these platforms, so make sure you remember the key signature. So you'd fall there, and then you just do this section again to go back to the central platform. Then you do that tightrope for the second button section. But like I said, it's not really second because you can do it in any order. Why did the screen just disappear there? Because I accidentally teleported to the Winroom by hitting the win pad, which I don't want you to see yet. There. My arm clipped through the wall, and that should not be a problem anymore, now that I've left a 1 stud gap. There's the other button, and then you would just do this again. But once you press both of those, it'll deactivate this door. A door that's here, and it'll reveal the one that's actually open, so it appears that the door opened. Then you high jump there, and here's the final outside. Now it's time to perform almost everything you've learned. Your run will end if you fall. Take a deep breath and begin when you are ready. Good luck. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, and nice. Anyway, that is the last of those read the rhythm things. Jump on the platform with the note G. That'd be that one. Okay, this was actually super annoying, so I made the first platform larger, so it's not bad. Then you can kind of just carefully do that to get onto the next platform, then jump there. This activates some things for 15 seconds. It's like the one from before where it's those kill bricks with an insta-kill you gotta avoid. Which wave has a higher frequency? That'd be that one. Then you're almost at the end. You just gotta redo this again. So this is buffed slightly, because that's the repeat signs. So you gotta do this again. This time there's stick out wraparounds though. And then from here it's the same. Just these few jumps. And then this is pretty much the end. Make sure you aren't moving when you jump on this teleporter. You'll write a moving part to the win pad, which is a music note at the top of the tower. Also make sure you keep your view within the obby plot. That was a new thing, the keep your view within the obby plot, then I added from the previous video. Because to save lag, the game will make the moving part a lot less smooth if your camera is far away from it and outside the obby plot, which is fine. But if you're standing on it and you try to zoom out, then it'll do that and it'll knock you off the platform. So that's kind of annoying. So that's why I have to say that. You can still get a pretty good view though, and you can zoom out a little bit more as you go up because you move, in this direction and not in the very corner of the obby. Tower of Music Theory Mayhem. Here's the win pad. So you can jump to it. There we go. Wow, nice job winning Tower of Music Theory Mayhem. You should be proud of yourself. That was certainly no easy feat. Hopefully you learned something about music by playing this tower. If you enjoyed, please leave a like on this obby. I built this whole tower in a video series on my YouTube channel, Roro Studios, if you'd like to watch me build this tower. Here are some songs I've composed myself. Another shameless plug, you can go check out Roro Studios music to listen to them. I took the image files of the thumbnails of those and uploaded them to Roblox. Well, some of them anyway. So we have Untitled Song in F minor, Collapse, and Rainfall. Then here's my character model saying, thanks for playing. And then the exit is this way if you jump down here. I'm going to set this at low insane, not baseline insane, because there are sections of this that are outside sections with no safety net, so it is kind of punishing in some places. But other than that, the gameplay is probably more like remorseless difficulty. Low insane, but not baseline insane. Well, that's going to be the conclusion of today's video and the conclusion of the Tower of Music Theory Mayhem series. Next week, we start the Citadel of the Infinite Abyss series, and that's going to be the Citadel for Ring 3, and I'm really excited about that. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that or any other future videos. So with that, I'll see you in the next video, and have a great day.